Hello and welcome to News Roundup, where we bring you highlights and key stories. I'm Sharifat Ibrahim. First, the headlines. Federal government dismisses new tax claims on fuel and telecom services. Kogi government introduces learners' ID policy in schools. Premier League releases 2026-2027 fixtures. Now the news in detail. The federal government has dismissed a report that it plans to introduce new taxes on fuel and telecommunications services following recommendations in the latest report by the International Monetary Fund (IMF). In a statement signed by Efe Ovwakpori, Head of Information and Public Relations, Federal Ministry of Finance, the government said IMF recommendations are advisory only and not binding on Nigeria. The ministry confirmed that the VAT waiver on petroleum products remains in force and has not been withdrawn. It also stated that the telecom excise duty introduced before 2023 has already been abolished under Nigeria's new tax laws. The government added that all tax decisions must follow constitutional and legislative processes guided by national priorities and economic realities. According to the statement, citizens are urged to disregard the report as government focus remains on stimulating growth and investment, not adding new tax burdens. And the Kogi state government has introduced a mandatory learner's identification number in all public and private schools, urging school owners and managers to comply with the new policy or face sanctions. Victoria Stephen report.
Commissioner for Education Honorable Webby Jones gave the directive during the stakeholder sensitization program on the annual school census in Lokoja. Jones described the learner's identification number as a mandatory requirement for all students, warning that learners not captured on the digitized National Education Management Information System could face challenges in participating in national examinations and gaining admission into higher institutions.
Every child is going to be linked to a number, the LIN. Without the LIN, no child will benefit from whatever initiative that the federal government is doing. For us in Kogi State, we are going to take it very seriously. A child that does not have an LIN will not benefit from all the initiatives and interventions of the state government.
Earlier, Director of the Education Planning, Research and Statistics, Dr. Elizabeth Animoku, said the annual school census is conducted to generate data on enrollment, teaching personnel, infrastructure, instructional materials, and other learning resources in schools across the state.
Annual school census is an official survey that gathers information about schools within a defined education system, similar to a population census, but focus on educational institutions.
According to her, the exercise provides critical data for educational planning, equitable resource allocation, teacher recruitment and training, monitoring gender parity, and implementing education reforms. I'm Victoria Stephen.
The Kogi state government has hailed the rescue of 5 kidnapped victims by troops of the Nigerian army, describing the operation as a significant breakthrough in the ongoing offensive against terrorists, bandits and kidnappers operating in parts of the state. The victims were freed during coordinated air and ground operations targeting criminal hideouts in Kogi first.
During the follow-up operation, a lot of bandit enclaves were engaged using the helicopter provided from the Office of the National Security Advisor. The engagement from the helicopter team forced the bandits to flee their current location and because they were unable to flee with all their captives, allowing some of the captives to take initiative and disengaging from the bandits.
In a statement by the Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, the government said the rescue is part of a series of successful operations in the Bono axis of Kababuno local government area, where security forces have neutralized criminal elements, dismantled camps, and secured the release of abducted persons. The state government commended troops of the 12th Brigade Nigerian Army under the leadership of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wadi Shaibu, and the Commandant, Brigadier General Kasim Sidi, as well as personnel of the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigeria Police Force, Department of State Services, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, local vigilantes and hunters for their commitment to ongoing security operations. It also expressed appreciation to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Bado, and the leadership of the nation's security and intelligence agencies for their continued support in strengthening security efforts across the country. The government statement added that recent measures introduced by Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo, including restrictions on commercial motorcycle operations in vulnerable areas, closure of identified criminal routes, and tighter regulation of sale of fuel, have complemented ongoing military operations by disrupting the logistics and movement of criminal groups. Governor Ododo congratulates the rescued victims and their families on their freedom and directed the Kogi State Ministry of Health to provide comprehensive medical screening, treatment and psychosocial support to aid their recovery.
We now met these people on the road. Honestly, I thought it was armed robbery because they shot the car, so the driver had to stop. The driver that carried us, I think, stopped and he escaped.
We stayed there for almost 2 weeks. So they say we should pay 2 million naira and bring a bike. So they will release us, anybody who did that.
So we saw the plane came down. I could feel the gravity. So to the glory of God, it's like that man saw us. He saw those men. He could not drop bomb. But where we stood, this is where we heard the sound of the thing drop on ground.
Speaking on behalf of the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Austin Ojotule assured that the ministry would oversee the victims' medical evaluation, treatment and rehabilitation until they are fit to reunite with their families.
Excellency Ahmed Usman Ododo, who has provided the enabling environment to allow the security agencies to work and also to support in whatever way to ensure that they can go to the bush and then handle these victims. He has equally provided enough support to the health team to ensure that the rescue victims are taken care of medically until they are well enough to be reunited with their family.
The government reaffirmed its commitment to working with security agencies to eliminate criminal enclaves across the state and urged residents to continue providing timely and credible information to support ongoing operations. The news roundup is coming to you on Lugat TV. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Today, Kogi now has the lowest number of out-of-school children in northern Nigeria, and the number continues to drop with a great achieved by the administration of Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo. School fees and examination charges for primary and secondary education are now fully covered. Bursaries and scholarships for students in tertiary institutions are paid, keeping dreams alive and classrooms full.
For students to have a modern laboratory like this where they can get their equipment and they can see what they are being taught in their class, it is a very good initiative, and we give a big kudos to the state government, His Excellency Governor Usman Ododo, and the supportive and collaborative partners.
He's using his tentacles to attract a lot of bursary for the state, and girls' child education is top-notch.
His Excellency gave us 100 poles of solar street lights. If you come to this campus at night, it's highly illuminated.
And for those of us who are in the teaching profession, our job has been made easy.
Continue to reflect on our achievements, learn from our past, and continue to strive for a more inclusive, prosperous, and more united Kogi State.
In democracy, power belongs to the people, but every mandate must be earned. This is People's Mandate, your platform for accountability where aspirants speak, leaders are held to account, and the people decide. Coming to you on Lugat TV. Welcome back. The Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ARCON, has raised concerns over the rising incidence of unapproved political advertisements being circulated by politicians, political parties, and affiliated support groups ahead of the 2027 general elections. Umamat Musa report.
According to the council, several of the adverts currently in circulation have not been vetted or approved, and in some cases are alleged to violate established religious and ethnic sensitivity guidelines, as well as provisions of the Nigeria Code of Advertising. The Director General of ARCON, Olalekan Fadolapo, in a statement, noted that all political campaign communications and voter education materials must strictly comply with the Nigeria Advertising Law and other applicable regulations governing advertising and marketing communications in the country. The council reiterated that the exposure of unapproved advertisements across traditional and digital media platforms without prior clearance from the Advertising Standard Panel constitutes an offense under Section 34, subsection 3 of the ARCON Act. ARCON has directed all political parties, aspirants, campaign organizations, advertising agencies, media owners, and related stakeholders to immediately desist from publishing or airing any political advertisements that have not received the required regulatory approval. The council further announced that in collaboration with relevant law enforcement agencies, it will soon commence a nationwide enforcement operation aimed at identifying and removing all political advertisements that lack prior approval. It's also warned that it will not hesitate to prosecute individuals and corporate entities found to be involved in sponsoring, disseminating, or benefiting from non-compliant political advertising materials. I am Umamat Musa.
Kogi State Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has been conferred with the Award of Governor of the Year on Security in the forthcoming 100 Most Influential Progressives Award 2026, organized by the Progressives magazine. A statement by the Special Advisor on Media to the Governor, Ismaila Issa, says the notice of the award was contained in a formal letter by the publisher of the Progressives magazine, Idris Jibril, on behalf of the editorial board and the award organizing committee. According to the statement, the publication, which also named the Kogi State Governor among 100 most influential progressives, noted that Governor Ododo emerged top in the security category following a rigorous data-driven evaluation process that assessed governors across Nigeria on key governance and security performance indicators. The publication noted that the award recognizes leaders who have demonstrated impactful governance, adding that Governor Ododo's administration have continued to strengthen security infrastructure and improve coordination across relevant agencies in Kogi State. The publishers further disclosed that Ododo's emergence was also reinforced by a nationwide public voting exercise, where participants reportedly acknowledged his administration's proactive efforts in security of lives and property and community protection strategies. The award ceremony is scheduled to hold on Friday, June 26, 2026 at the Grand Ballroom of Barcelona Hotel in Abuja. And on sports, the fixtures for the 2026-2027 Premier League season have been released, with defending champions Arsenal set to kick off the new campaign against newly promoted Coventry City on Friday, August 21, 2026. Liverpool begin life under new manager with a tough away trip to Newcastle United, while Manchester United travel to Hull City in the Tigers' first top flight match in a decade. Among the newly promoted sides, Coventry face a challenging return to the Premier League, with fixtures against Arsenal, Hull City and Manchester City in their opening 3 games. Hull City host Manchester United on the opening weekend, while Ipswich Town start at home against Sunderland before facing Manchester United and Liverpool. Other standout opening fixtures include Brentford versus Tottenham Hotspur, Brighton against Aston Villa, Bournemouth's trip to Manchester City, and Fulham's London derby clash with Chelsea. Thank you for staying with us. That is it on this week's episode of News Roundup. Until next week, I'm Sherifat Ibrahim.